We are the keepers of the flame, the sacred order. Let the ceremony begin. And today, faithful acolytes, we take a look at this. And what this is hog's breath. And this label is not showing up very well here, unfortunately. Hog's breath hot sauce, it is the red. And we have hog's breath is better than no breath at all, I guess. And so this, I mean, the label is nice, but it just doesn't read very well. Way too much glare here. Alright, you know what? This just talks about some of the uses, but we know as a Louisiana style sauce what the uses are by now. And if not, feel free to read through the blog where I go through quite a few uses. This is one of my favorite styles of sauces. So we have peppers, which are not specified, vinegar, salt. This reads to me a lot like cayenne. It's possible it's like a red jalapeno, but to me it definitely reads more as a cayenne. So I'm thinking that's probably what it is. Label is, okay, so if any sauce manufacturers are out there listening, don't do this with your labels. I despise this. So there's no reason to have them overlap. So you can see this one is overlapping by about 1/8 of an inch. You don't need to do that. If anything, cut it back maybe to 3/16 or 1/4 inch, just so we can have a little gap, because it's nice to be able to see how much sauce is in the bottle. Like, just the devil's in the detail, right? And little things like that are just super handy. I mean, it's not going to make or break whether I would buy this sauce. It's an okay sauce. It's certainly acceptable as far as the cayenne goes, or Louisiana style goes. It's not like one I would seek per se, but it's okay. I mean, it's pretty much middle of the road. It's a fine example of that style. Of course, like all sauces of this type, it's very, very watery. So there is a restrictor cap necessarily, I should add. And you can see here, it looks just like your standard Louisiana style sauce, just your standard cayenne sauce. And it's got the classic red, orange sort of hue to it. You can see it's very runny. This one does stick reasonably well to the spoon. This spoon is a plastic that really doesn't always like things to be stuck to it, and it's doing pretty well here. So there's not anything that's too far out of the realm of things. In fact, if you look at the neck, you can see the tiny, tiny particulates, which is very consistent with that style as well. So, all right, here we go. So, very straightforward. Very vinegary. Nice little back charge. This is just pretty much your typical Louisiana style. You hit with the vinegar blast first, then followed by the pepper. It's a little bit of salt. So, yeah, I mean, whoever's making it, I'm sure they're not making it, but whoever's making this for them, it's fine. This is everything, more or less, you'd want out of this style sauce. So if you saw this on the table, it would fit in anywhere with the Louisiana style application. It is a bit more abrasive than some of the ones I've had, and as I mentioned in the review, available down below, it does not have a flavor profile that to me is like one of the better examples of this style sauce. And for a sauce so simple, you don't really need anything more than what's here. Peppers, pepper mash, vinegar, salt. That's it. That's all you really need for Louisiana style. But for something that simple, it's interesting to me how much of a variance there can be, unless somebody's not labeling stuff. Assuming that's not the case, though, there's a huge disparity between what is the top of the market and what is kind of the middle, and then the lower side of things. It's just fascinating to me. All right, so we have here today deluxe. I'm getting fancy on you guys. A deluxe macaroni and cheese. And this is anything that's a creamy style dish, anything fried, stuff like that. Anything really heavy, this definitely, a good Louisiana style sauce will break that up and kind of give it that little bit of the yang to the yin, sort of, so to speak, of the flavor. It just gives it a nice little breakup, so you don't have just heavy, super heavy, cream flavors or whatever. So this one is just this is their attempt at the Velveeta style of things, where it comes with a cheese sauce as opposed to a cheese packet. So usually I'll put just depending on how much heat it adds, but I'll usually cover it. So all right, let's stir that in and see kind of where we fall. I might actually need to add more, but I might not. It just really depends. It's better, of course, to have too little than too much, and of course, flavor is really kind of the criteria here for me. I'm not super worried about how much heat is in stuff like this. It's really, like, overall, despite there being like hot sauces, I do want a little heat. There's very little in this. More, it's about the flavor. Flavor is really kind of where I live and die as far as sauces go. All right, so that needs just a touch more. Make sure we incorporate it thoroughly here. So we're getting, in our light orange, we're getting a little hint of a darkening here, a little hint of the red in our mac and cheese. Yeah, that's about on the money there. Just gives it that little hint of a bite. Very rarely will I have a mac and cheese that I don't think needs to be cut a little bit. And of course you can't bake it in either. But you can bake out a lot of that astringency. Might work with like a pickled cayenne pepper though. Maybe a pickled hot cherry pepper. If I get around to playing with mac and cheeses in the oven, come up with something worthwhile, I'll show you guys. Alright, there we go. That was excellent. The creaminess was really balanced nicely by this sauce. So, yeah, I mean, this one, I can't remember what I paid for this. It is not notably better, though, than like the Louisiana Gold, for instance, is like $2-3. This was more than that, I know that. It's not worth more than that, though. It's not worth more than the Louisiana Gold. Which is kind of the point where I look at, as far as sauces, like my favorite style, one of my favorite sauces in the world, my favorite Louisiana style sauce ever is the Red Devil from Trappy. That's one of the few sauces I've ever encountered that I could drink. I love that sauce. No heat whatsoever, though. With the Irazu, which is my standby, it is a ghost pepper and a cayenne, and the flavoring is just fantastic. It's not quite what Red Devil is, but it is fantastic nonetheless. And I will say this, it does very nicely slide in a little extra heat. So it is one of the few more piquant Louisiana-style sauces that actually retains a very solid flavor profile. That's why that one is number one. I haven't had it at all. I had it last year. I haven't had it at all this year. Just mainly because I've got a substantial backlog as I do this. And you can read the chronicles of that too, by the way, in the quarterly updates in the blog, link below. But I've got such a backload of sauces that it's retreading a lot of sauces unless there's some point in doing it. I try to do just judiciously, so and it's only my favorites. So we'll see stuff like the Cajon's Bitch when it's barbecuing season. We'll see the Trappy Red Devil if I come across. I haven't seen it for a while now. Just for old time's sake, the Irazu Cayenne, as I mentioned. Also the Blair's, the Pure Death, which is maybe my second favorite sauce ever. I'll kind of do those. I really wish I could find the Voodoo Child Honeydew Peppadew. That one was just brilliant. Love that sauce too. But so a lot of these, the Z's Shield Maiden, went through that last year as well. Some of those are just really fantastic tasting sauces, and I literally enjoy every second. Like the Bad Brains, Fire Babylon Burn, I think, something like that. That was another really, really outstanding mustard style sauce. I mean, just if I see those that I really, really love, and I go through those bottles really quick just because I love using them so much. But anyway, that aside, I should probably get back to talking about the sauce. This one again, if you saw it somewhere, you could use it. Not worry about it too much. I wouldn't go to any lengths to buy it though. I will say that. This one, if you happen to need it to put in your cart, for instance, to get free shipping, something like that is probably fine. This is not one that, or if you're really a big fan of Hogshead Tavern or Saloon or whatever it is, you could do that as well. But as a sauce itself, like I said, it's very, very middle of the road. And for the money, you can get 2-3 bottles of some of the other ones that are actually just overall better sauces. But if you need an introduction to Louisiana style or Cayenne style sauces, and this one's around, you could definitely do worse. So in that respect, it is worthwhile. But anyway, there we have it. The Hog's Breath Red. Now go forth in peace to serve the flame.